Hello and welcome to another cookery cam. It's been an awfully long time since my last video, but recently I've been on a healthy eating kick and quite a strict diet, and I've been cooking some things that some people have asked me the recipes for, so I thought I'd do another video. So today we're going to do a chicken and vegetable curry. Very delicious, very healthy, very low fat, very high fibre, and a quick whiz round the ingredients. So we've got a couple of sticks of celery. We've got a green chilli pepper there. You can use green or red. I've just happened to have some green at the moment. Thumb-sized piece of root ginger, which I'm going to peel and grate. A head of garlic, probably use most of that. A couple of sweet potatoes, going to peel and chop that into chunks. I've got some leftover new potatoes that I'm going to halve or quarter and put in. And then we've got some garam masala over there on the left, probably using a couple of heaped teaspoons of that. Some turmeric, very powerful anti-carcinogen, so I usually put a couple of heaped teaspoons of that in as well. At the back there in the Nescafe jar we've got some medium curry powder. I think that's from Schwartz, I can't remember to be honest. Cauliflower, we're going to cut that into florets. Spring greens, we're going to chop that and add that as well for some fantastic roughage and great flavour. Green beans, coriander. A couple of peppers, we're going to de-seed those and chop those off and put them in. Carrots, going to peel those and cut those into chunks. A couple of tins of lentils there, they're brown lentils, you can use green, I wouldn't recommend red probably for this dish, they'll turn into mush. Some chicken stock pots there, probably put a couple of those in for flavour. A couple of tins of chopped tomatoes, tomato puree, tomato passata, and then the chicken thighs. So I'm going with skinless chicken thigh fillets, so no bone to worry about. And I'm going to cook these whole, and then at the end I'm probably going to take a couple of forks and shred them so that the meat gets distributed through the dish. So that's an awful lot of ingredients, but really you can use whatever veg you like or whatever veg you've got to hand. You could use turnip, you could use swede, you could use normal potatoes and cut them into cubes. You could use cauliflower, you could use aubergines, you could use courgettes, you could use whatever you like. So whatever you've got to hand, whatever veg you like. The idea is that this is probably going to be all of your 5 a day in one meal, and it's going to taste fantastic as well. So what I'll do is I'll get on with prepping all of that, chopping, cutting, grating, whatever I'm going to do, and then I'll come back when all of that is done just before we start cooking. So I'll see you in a moment. Right, so here I am, I'm back again. So all the prep is done. So did I mention the red onion? That is one red onion that I've peeled and grated. That's the 2 sticks of celery. That's the piece of ginger which I peeled and microplanes. That's that head of garlic, which I split into about, I think it was 5 or 6 cloves, peeled and grated those as well. And that's the chilli. I've just add the 1 green chilli for the minute. You can always add more for heat later on if needed. Those are the spices we're going to be using. So clockwise from the top, that is the curry powder, 2 heaped tablespoons of curry powder. The garam masala, same amount, 2 heaped tablespoons, and 2 heaped tablespoons of turmeric. Those are the chicken thighs. Now this is going to be a big curry because I like leaving it in the fridge and having it for lunch every day. It's one of those things that I just could eat indefinitely. So I'm going to do a really big one. So that's about, I don't know, dozen, no more than that, about 18 chicken thigh fillets. That's the coriander, which I'll chop and add later on. That's the stock, which I'll add later on. And then as before, we've got the lentils and the chopped tomatoes, passata, tomato puree, and that is all the chopped vegetables. So that is those red peppers, that is the greens, that is the beans, that's the sweet potato, that's the carrot, that's the cauliflower, basically what I showed you earlier. So that's all in there. So what I'm going to do is fry off the chicken first, as I say, keep it whole, and then at the end of cooking in a couple of hours I'll probably shred some or all of it with forks. So I'm going to fry that off first, and then in the same pan I will sweat the onion, garlic, chilli, celery, and after that's sweated, I'll then add the vegetables, and then, well actually, I'm not sure about the order of that, I might, no, after I've sweated that, I think I'll then add the spices, cook those off for a minute, then add the rest of the vegetables, and then, yeah, well I'll show you that process as I do it, so I'll come back soon. Okay, so there's the chicken, which I've browned off, and now in the pan, I've put in the celery, the onion, the garlic, the chilli, and just gently frying that in some groundnut oil. And then in a moment, when that is fully sweated off, maybe another minute or two, I'll add the spices, cook out the spices for a minute, and then add the rest of the vegetables. So I'll do that and then I'll come back. Okay, so that's sweated off, and now in with the spices. Cook those off for a minute. Starting to smell really good already. Just cook those off for a minute, and then I'll add the rest of the veg. I'll cook that out for 5 minutes or so, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I've put the veg in. As you can see, it very nearly fills the pan. There's not much room to put the chicken back in just yet. So what I'm going to do is add some water and simmer that down a bit until the vegetables are cooked. And I'm also going to add these 2 tins of chopped tomatoes. Put those in as well. Probably some passata, probably a squeeze of puree. So I'll do that and then I will come back. So there it is. That's all the veg. I haven't put the chicken back in yet. There's no room in the pan. As I said, I'm making a big batch of this because it sits very happily in the fridge for 3 or 4 days, or until you get around to eating it all. So that's just coming up to a simmer now. I'm going to leave that to simmer for probably half an hour or an hour until all the vegetables are cooked. And then I've added some salt and pepper to that, by the way. And then I'll add the chicken back in and leave it to simmer for another hour or so until the chicken is cooked. Taste it for seasoning. As I say, it's had some salt and pepper. I'll probably add a couple of those chicken stock cubes just to beef up the flavour of it. Adjust for seasoning. If I think it needs more curry powder or more garam masala, I'll put some in. So yeah, I'll leave that to simmer for half an hour, 1 hour, and then I'll come back. Okay, so that's had about 45 minutes, and you can see some of the liquid has boiled off. And the vegetables are very nearly cooked. So I'm going to put the chicken back in. I'm going to add the lentils. I'll probably add 1, maybe 2 stock pots, depending. And I'll add the coriander. And then I'll taste it for seasoning, perhaps add some salt and pepper. And then I'll leave that to simmer for another 3/4 of an hour, 1 hour, something like that. And then I'll come back. And there it is, the finished product. So I just simmered that for another hour with the chicken in. I've taken mine out and I'm going to have it now with a piece of brown bread. And then when it's cooled down a bit, I'll probably shred the chicken so it's more evenly distributed. And then that will do us for the week. That'll sit in the fridge quite happily. Have that for lunch every day, very nicely. So yeah, give it a go. Put whatever vegetables you like in it. I never follow a recipe exactly, so I don't expect anyone else to. If you want more heat, put more chilli. If you're vegetarian, leave out the chicken. Yeah, so that's that. Hope you enjoy it.